And so we turn to our Christmas story. Our Christmas story begins when Mary is visited by an angel. And it's been lovely this morning because I couldn't get to the board because there was a lot of children from the playgroup who were having a look at it. So if you hear them, I'm going to be following them round the trail. But our story begins with that visit of Mary by the angel to Mary. It's a difficult story. It's a challenging story. And it's one which Mary said. She was a bit frightened for a wee bit, but then she said, "May it be as God has planned." She showed great faith and trust in God. Now we'll go and see where the next trail is. I'm not going to walk all the way because, as you can see, I'm walking backwards and it's not to be suggested that that's a good idea. It was one thing being told by an angel that you're to have a baby, but then imagine telling your fiancé that Mary had to tell Joseph that she was going to have a baby. What a shock for them both. And yet, in love, they managed to get through this shock. And now the journey begins. A long journey from Nazareth to Bethlehem. Sometimes on foot, sometimes for Mary, who was heavily pregnant, was going to have a baby in a very short time. It was quite a journey to make. And they began their journey to Bethlehem, the city of David, so that Joseph, who was the descendant of King David, could register at the census. It wasn't a quick journey either. They had to travel probably for days because we're about 80 miles, and you can imagine walking that on foot. Quite a journey. And when they got there, after a long, tiring journey, there was no room anywhere, in the inns or in the houses, nowhere for Mary to give birth to her baby. After a long and tiring journey, imagine what they felt to find there was nowhere to stay. But they found one innkeeper who, though didn't have any room, said that they could use his stable, which was at least dry and would keep them a wee bit warm. And it was there that Mary gave birth to her child, Jesus. In fields nearby, watching their sheep, some shepherds had a frightening experience when they were visited by the angels, who told them to go to Bethlehem to see this thing that had happened. And they left their sheep and they went to Bethlehem to pay homage to the baby Jesus, who they found, just as the angel had said, in a manger. And they gave thanks to God. In a land far away, to the east of where Mary and Joseph were in the stable looking after the baby Jesus, some wise men, we sometimes call them kings, were looking through the old Hebrew Bible, the scriptures, and they found words that told them of a new king to be born. And then they recognized in the stars a new bright star, a sign from God. And so they left their home and travelled, we do not know how far, but a long way to find the baby Jesus. Our journey is a long way because this is, I think, the furthest point down the road to the estate where we can find the board about the wise men. The wise men went to Jerusalem thinking that that would have been the obvious place for a king because that was the capital. And they met the king, and he got his wise men to look at the scriptures, and they found that the baby to be born would be born in Bethlehem. And so they continued and followed the star until they reached Bethlehem. As I get to the end of the story, the Christmas story is about leaving. It's about Mary and Joseph leaving the comfort of their home and travelling to Bethlehem. It's about shepherds leaving their flocks by night and travelling to Bethlehem. It's about wise men leaving their homes in the east and travelling eventually to Bethlehem. Sometimes we get so cross and so grumpy that we have to leave things behind. But Christmas tells us that we leave things behind so that we can go and see Jesus, and our lives are made so much better. I hope you all have a great Christmas when it comes, and thank you to the Sunday School once again for all the activities that they have given to us. And as I say, it's the most exercise I've had for some time. Thank you. I want to say a huge thank you to all the children who have painted the pictures on the boards. I want to say thank you to Susan Allister who put them round the village, and also to all the homeowners and the state for allowing us to put boards in their land. Hope you enjoy the trail, and a huge thank you to everyone who's taken part, and I do hope that this encourages you to get out and have a walk and to read the story of Christmas.